This is Friendly Fire.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Friendly Fire. Hopefully one that will please the gods. My name's Dylan, and I'm here joined, as always, by my
faithful offsider or dude, I don't know.
Magi of Egypt, Scott. No, that's Bayak. You're not quite dark enough skin.
Or
I don't think you could cosplay as
or
Bayak.
not skilled enough with a sword.
Yeah, but maybe don't try that.
That's probably not a good idea, no.
If you haven't gathered already, we're going to talk about Assassin's Creed Origins
It
today.
was going to be about RPGs, but we decided, fuck it, let's go.
Yeah, well, there was probably just too much content to cover in Assassin's Creed Origins. If you've been following the channel, you've realised I've got an obsession with it because every video I've uploaded this week has been in this game because I just can't drag myself out of it. And
Terrible, Dill. Terrible.
it's probably actually old news to a lot of people now because the game's been out since, the end of October?
Yeah, it's been out for about 3 weeks.
It feels like it's only just come out because we've only just sort of acquired it or...
See, you've had it since it came out, though.
So Ada's been playing it. And I've seen it since it first came out because Ada was playing it. But I was kind of like, here and there watching it. I was more into whatever I was doing at the time.
Shadow of War.
Yeah, well, probably trying to get Shadow of War done. And my decision was I wasn't going to play Assassin's Creed till I got the Xbox One X, which, if you didn't catch last week's episode, Elliott was here with us and we had a bit of a detailed breakdown of the
Good
box.
news! I have played it.
You played it now,
I
yeah.
have.
Yeah, that was right. We had to catch back up with you about that. So, I wasn't sure if you were actually going to get Assassin's Creed Origins at first because you sort of were a bit reluctant.
When it first came out, I was Assassin's Creeded out, really.
It's been 2 years, Scott.
Yes, but I have played every game that's been available on the major consoles. I haven't played, except for Rogue. Rogue was the only one I haven't really played. And I just got to the point where I wasn't really looking forward to more of the same. And I have been very pleasantly surprised.
Did you watch the trailer at all?
I think I saw them, but I didn't go out of my way to watch them.
Because not even like a gameplay trailer?
No.
Because I think I was sort of in the same boat as you because obviously Syndicate was the last game before this one and I started playing it on the channel and just got bored of it super quickly. Just did not enjoy it.
You had the random floating hat.
Yeah, that was like the only... No, what was it, the hat?
It was the
It was
guy
the hat,
in the
yeah,
hot
wasn't it?
top hat.
Yeah.
And you...
That was the most fun I had in the game was the damn floating hat.
Because we were playing that mission at the same time.
Yeah.
And you were talking about this floating top hat. I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? It wasn't until I watched the video.
And it's not that the game was super buggy or anything that was the problem. It was just I didn't enjoy the game. And at that point, I'd played Unity not that long beforehand and all that sort of thing.
We played Unity for quite some time.
Yeah.
We were very hooked on the multiplayer.
Yeah, which everybody else hated, but whatever.
Fuck you guys.
So I wasn't looking forward to just playing more of like what Syndicate was, but when I saw it was in Egypt and I knew that they'd taken sort of a 2-year break, well, not break, but working on it for longer, I guess, had a break. I was kind of a little bit interested, but I still wasn't like hooked on it. When I saw the first gameplay trailer, I was then hooked because I saw the RPG elements of it, which weren't really in the other games that I'd played recently. Like there was a little bit in Unity where I think you could have like different weapons and things, couldn't you? But it wasn't like...
It was basically this one does X amount of damage, this one does Y. They'd simplified, because it started out with some... Well, in number 2 specifically, with a bit of RPG type elements, but not a lot.
Yeah.
And they'd basically taken the little they had and basically just stripped it right out.
So something about this gameplay trailer to me made me realize that this was going to be a lot more in depth and not so much that it was going to go over my head, but enough to be more like, I mean, even sort of the past year I'd played Shadow of Mordor, and it sort of felt a bit more even like that, where, I mean, those games were always compared to each other a lot, but for some reason I always liked Shadow of Mordor, maybe because I liked the lore of that world and whatnot.
It was fresh, it was different.
Whereas, like, Shadow of War now, we've been discussing recently, we're a bit sort of tired of. We played the game a lot, so it's not like it was really early that we got tired of it. It's just, it gets to a point where you feel like you're doing the same thing, and a lot more, probably, I don't know how you would describe it, but like it isn't as fun to play.
It's not. I was actually thinking last night, and we're going off topic here, but its biggest problem has been timing.
Yeah.
If it had come out last year without, well, yeah, as you say, it's been majorly compared with Assassin's Creed its entire life, that series. Without an Assassin's Creed game just around the corner, even if it had come out in August when it's supposed to come out, you'd have 2 months almost between it.
I forgot it was originally coming out in August, and that would have made a whole lot more sense, and that probably was the original idea. It was to get it ahead of that sort of rush.
Well, see, because yeah, it can stand up, but it's playing Assassin's Creed, and I played it fairly solidly this last week, really reveals the flaws in the systems that it has, and that's
what I was looking for before, sort of the flaws of it, of really shining.
And it's just because this game is so polished, it loses something in the comparison. And yeah, had it come in August, we would not be having this discussion.
I don't think so, no. I think we probably still would have got tired of it, but we wouldn't be comparing it to something like this. We wouldn't have the option to play this until it came out.
I think we would have probably, you and I probably would have completed it by now. I mean, I'm probably another week away.
Yeah, I've still got, I mean, because are you like me? Are you 100%ing it? Are you going through doing everything?
Not everything. There are things I'm just not concerned about. I'm not,
because I haven't done the what are the missions that like
the Bright Lord missions.
Yeah, the Celebrimbor sort of stuff. I haven't done those. I did like maybe the first 5, and then I just did not enjoy them.
I didn't enjoy the ones I did,
so I stopped doing them. But I was going to leave it till the end game and go back and do them just to 100% it. And I figured by that point they'd probably be reasonably easy as well, but I don't know.
Well, no, because the gear doesn't matter.
But I mean, like, more so, I'd be more comfortable and used to the game. Like, when you first do some of those missions and you're used to, like, you're not quite used to doing all of those more skilled things. Like, because right at the start of the game, well, I mean, it was probably different for us, and yeah, we are off topic here, but we'd played Shadow of Mordor recently, so we were used to using all of those higher end skills, like your like Shadow Strike and that sort of thing. So it wasn't too bad for us to come back into that. Like when you go in and do those missions and you've got to use Shadow Strike, whereas the character doesn't start with it, I can see where somebody who's just started the game would be a little bit slow with that sort of stuff. But
yeah.
Anyhow, you purchased the game. You purchased Origins.
I did.
I purchased it day one, or pre-ordered it, and you purchased it.
But
well, you've got the game, and you've been playing it for what, about a week now? Have you had it for a week?
Not quite.
Just under a week.
Just under a week. It's been it's amazing experience. Honestly, playing this game it's definitely my game of this year. It's probably my game of the last couple of years, really.
Yeah, I think really and just clarify, we're Xbox users. We don't use PlayStation. We don't play anything on PC. We're solely Xbox. There's not a whole lot of first-party content on Xbox this year. There hasn't been really anything that's come to mind. Like, you've got your Forza and that sort of thing, but that's not something we play.
I'm not interested, and you're not interested.
So, I mean, Gears of War would have been the year.
Gears of War was this year.
Was it this year?
I'm pretty sure it was
I
either
can't
late
remember,
last
but
year or
regardless,
this
we hardly play that first party sort of stuff anyway. Like, we played Halo in the past, but it's still, like, we haven't played Halo 5 yet, and it's been out for years. It's now got 4K updates.
It's Xbox Enhanced.
We
Let's
may
do
play it at some stage. But, like, the thing is, on PlayStation, people have been raving about Horizon Zero Dawn. On Nintendo Switch, people have been raving about Zelda and Mario Odyssey and that sort of thing. We haven't really had that sort of thing this year. Like, it's been a big year for games, but we haven't had it so much on Xbox. And I think this is the first game really this year. I mean, Shadow of War was a bit, like, it was good, but this is one where it's been like a standout for the year. There was probably other games that we liked at the start of this year. Like, I think, going back, trying to think, like, Ghost Recon Wildlands was the start of the year, wasn't it?
Was it the beginning of this year or the end of last? I think it was the beginning of this year.
March, and that was going to be a big one for us. We were super excited for that, and then we just didn't really play it that much, didn't enjoy it that much. But
it was fun. It just sort of... It was that type of big game where this is somehow skirted around doing it, where it's not repetitive.
Yeah, so let's get into a discussion about the game. Let's get into it. I've just this doesn't apply to YouTube or audio listeners because we're not screen capturing, but we've got the map up on screen just so we can see it. Sorry. So you start in Siwa, which is a reasonable sized area for any game, really.
It's not small. Like, none of the areas feel small.
Yeah, you always feel like you're in quite a big area, but basically you jump around the map a little bit because there's sort of not... I guess they kind of level restrictions, because if you go into that area, I'm sure you could explore it, but you can't get into any combat.
Oh, I did it the other night, actually. Because there's no hard border.
No,
you're in one area.
You can go wherever
you're
you
in
want.
the other area. It just happens. And I got into combat. I thought I was in the same area as I was doing the second area you go to. No, I wasn't. It turns out, and didn't realize it until the guy had a big red skull in his face.
Yeah,
and it just sort of ended badly.
Yeah, so it's just fantastic looking, and the photo mode in this game is just... I've always thought photo modes in games were like a bit kind of like, yeah, whatever, like who wants to take photos and whatnot. I find myself looking at photos in this game and just being sort of breathtaking at sometimes. Oh, I take photos in here like crazy now because I just love seeing... Like, if I see something, I'm like, oh, I've got to take a photo of this so somebody else can see it. And the fact that you can just cruise around the map and see what other people have taken photos of is kind of cool. And
it doesn't seem to be your friend. Like, I would like to see more of what my friends have photoed.
Yeah, that's the one thing I would like to see, is the option to have friends' photos rather than just randoms. I know they're trying to, I guess, make it more of a community, but it's clearly not everybody's photo ever, or the map would be littered.
Oh, you wouldn't be able to see anything.
So I don't know how it chooses which photos, because I often see people that have like a certain amount of likes. Like, this photo we're looking at now has nearly 6,000 likes, and then you'll get other photos that have 0 likes. So it's not like... I don't know, it's a bit weird as to how they've done it. I can't find one at the moment that has 0 likes. Well, that's one of my photos. So my photos don't really have any likes on them for...
I spent about a good 3 or 4 minutes last night taking pictures of cats.
Oh, you were taking pictures of cats, huh? Was that you or Lyndon?
Me. Well, there was 2 little the little kitten things.
Yeah, they came up to you. They were trying to harass you.
No, well, they were just standing there.
Yeah.
That's cool.
Anyway, we won't go around looking at these photos forever, but the photo mode is... I think it's worthwhile in this game. I think they know they've made a beautiful game, And obviously it's in 4K. It's like there's...
Don't want to show it off, I think.
Yeah, and I think it's great. I think it's definitely worth it. And so you're hardly into the game at all, really. You've been playing it all week, but you were saying to me, this game, are you 100%ing?
This game I'm 100%ing. I'm not a completionist by nature. I will 100% something if I choose to. Like,
I think as long as you're enjoying it, there's no problem.
I think the last game I set out to 100% was The Witcher 3, and by the end I wasn't bored, I just wanted to move to something else.
There was a game recently I did that. I think it was Mafia 3 when I was playing it, so it's not that recent actually, but when I played it, I said at the start I want 100% this game because I love the Mafia games, and I was like, I'm going to do this. By the end of it, I was just like, it was just repetition, and I was just getting a bit bored of it. I still did 100%. I didn't 100% the achievements, because often with those sorts of games, there's like paths that you take, and you'll have to like
play it 3 and 4 times.
Yeah, you can't save like at a point and then continue on one path or something, so you'd have to replay it. So I don't care about the achievements, but collectibles and whatnot, I did 100% that game, and that was probably, I felt a bit tired in that. In this at the moment, where I'm starting to get up to, I'm not really like tired of it, but I'm finding I'm playing so much of it that I'm getting to a point where it's more my personality that I'm starting to feel a bit like lonely when I'm playing the game. It's not the game's fault at all. That's just my personality. So I'm starting to save things like I've done Giza here, and I've still got all the like the tombs I haven't explored in each of them. They've got question marks. I'm leaving that until I'm online with people and in a party so that I can just be in a conversation while I'm doing it, because those are the sorts of tasks where I'm like, I'm just going to be exploring something like this. I'm happy to have a conversation. When I'm doing a normal quest or a side quest, it's fine because like the characters in game are interacting and that sort of thing. When I'm doing something where I'm rather isolated, I kind of want to talk to people. That's just my personality. It's really weird, probably, like compared to most people. Most people probably love going and doing that stuff by themselves. But so that's where I'm at the moment. I'm kind of like, I'm leaving some stuff for when I'm in a party and interacting with people, and then I'm doing other stuff by myself. But I'm at level 30 out of 40 at the moment. So,
but you know, by no means 70% of the way through the game.
No, nowhere near it. There's plenty of regions that I haven't even stepped into yet. So, which
it will be interesting because I'm looking at some of them, and it's level 25 to 27 or 22 to 25. It'll be interesting to see how over leveled you are for the region. Well,
that's the thing I've found so far is like, so I'm currently in Memphis, which is level 20 to 23, and I'm level 30. I haven't found that I'm super over leveled. Like, it's easier than if you were to go in there level 20 to 23. Like, I know from the start of the game when I was the levels that I was supposed to be, I felt like there was more of a challenge than there is now, but I enjoy playing a game like that. I like to grind and level up my gear and then come in and just dominate. Like, that to me is fun. It's playing on easy mode without playing on easy mode. Yeah. Like, I'm playing on normal, but if I can just go in and dominate a whole camp, that's fine. I made a video, I'll show it to you later, but if you haven't seen, I made a video this week where I went into a camp with, you know how you have things that have poison effect?
Yep.
So I poisoned a soldier, and then you see how they've got like the fumes coming off of them? Have you seen that?
Yeah, I've got a poison sword.
Yeah, so they'll have like the fumes coming off them. If you carry them and walk them around, they will, like, the poison is contagious from the fumes. So I just walked into a camp and started killing people with a person that was poisoned and didn't even use a weapon. I didn't manage to kill everyone because they lit the brazier and people just continually come at that point. Like, I thought there would be a stopping point, but it seemed like they just continued to come.
Should have blown the brazier up.
So, things like that are really fun and interesting to me. So if I can go into and that might have been in a lower level, that might have been up somewhere where I would already had dominated because I was just having fun. But I like that sort of play. Like, I like to be able to feel like a god when I...
Gods of Egypt.
So...
Fuck you, Anubis.
Anyway, like we said, we're going to get really distracted in this podcast, and we're not even off the first point yet. So we should probably move on now that it's been 20 minutes. The story. Now, obviously you're not super far in. This is not going to be completely spoiler-free if you haven't played the game yet. Scott and I are going to talk about what's happened so far and where it relates in with everything, if it does. So, if you're really interested in the story, maybe either skip forward 5 to 10 minutes or just watch the rest of the podcast when you've played it. Scott's not super far in. How many hours have you probably played?
Probably 10.
Yeah, so not a whole lot. Just basic story stuff. So most people should know this by now.
I'm more interested to see where it ends, and I'm speculating that you're going to end in Messiah, which is not Egypt at all. It's Syria, but
fair enough.
Or end traveling to just because that's where you started.
Okay.
You know, the first game was your home base was Messiah.
So you're thinking the Assassin's Creed, you think he's going to go over there and start something?
I think it's probably going to spread. I think there's probably going to be...
So obviously if you're sticking around because you are just interested and you're probably not going to play the game, obviously it's Assassin's Creed Origins. It's supposed to be
the beginning of the Creed.
Origin story. So Bayek is the first assassin.
Yes.
So go on with where you...
So, I mean, this is all speculation. I've basically done none of the story that involves...
Big Assassin's Creed nerd. He knows more than I do.
Yeah, and I don't know all that much, but... I know there are comic books in Rome. There's Rome... stories within Rome. So I'm imagining whether it's him or one of his disciples ends up traveling through Rome, spreads that way. But the impression I got from the first game was that home base was Messiah. I mean, that may not be true, and that's not too far from here geographically. I mean, I imagine because the fortress there seemed very established, very old. It had been around for a while. So I'm wondering if that's where you end up. I'd like to see it. It would be a nice tie-in, but it may not be.
It'd be interesting. So I'm obviously further than you are in the story, and I've met with Cleopatra. So doing some stuff there, which is kind of interesting. But I don't want to spoil anything for you either, so I'm not going to dive too deep into what I know yet. But basically, this all stems from the first major cutscene that you see of Bayek with his son, and there's these people with the masks on, and they seem to believe that you know something about the Apple of Eden.
Yes.
So, is there any context or backstory to that the other Assassin's Creed games or content would have us know? Is there any... Do we know yet why they have it as to anything like that?
Well, we know where it's come from, obviously, the first civilization. I'm actually going to assume it's not just the origin of the Assassins, this game. It's going to be the origins of some variant of the Templars.
Yeah.
Not by that name.
Yep.
That name won't come about for about 1,000 years.
Yeah.
But some variant of that group.
Yep.
And that's basically what they were. This game is essentially a revenge story.
Yes.
It's a very personal story that affects a large story.
So I don't have any real problem with the whole revenge story. I think it makes sense. I'm hoping to get a little bit more depth later. I don't think it's going to happen. But the thing to me is I would really like a lot more flashbacks with the son to make it a bit more powerful, because at the moment it's like, someone killed my son. It's like, I don't know, like, you would have enough revenge to want to kill the person that killed your son, which is, I guess, sort of what he's trying to do, but taking everybody down on the way. But then the fact to make the Assassin's Creed or whatnot, like, there's obviously more that's going to happen there.
I think so.
I assume it's going to get to a point where it builds, where it's like, we need to make sure that other people don't get hurt, sort of thing. But
maybe not. I think it's probably going to be a bit more organic than that. I don't think he's going to wake up one day, here's the Assassin's Creed, let's do this.
No, not so much. But I mean, like, basically that's the direction we're going in. But I don't know, it just feels a little bit to me like, it's not bad, but it's just a bit like typical
Small?
revenge sort of.
Well, revenge.
I mean, I guess the fact that it might be a little bit more, there might be more pressure on it because it was also him with the blade that killed his son.
Yes.
Which probably puts a little bit more emphasis on it, but it's, yeah, I don't know, to me it still feels, for this to stem onto everything, like you're basically just going through as a war machine, killing everybody in your path, just because someone killed your son.
I think
I don't know if that's powerful enough or not. I'm not a father, so maybe it is.
I imagine, well, it's probably more powerful to someone who actually has kids, but I think that in some ways it reminds me a lot of Dragon Age 2. Not the revenge. There's nothing to do with revenge in that game, mostly. But in that it's a small story. It's not that happens to affect a larger. It's not Mass Effect. You're not setting out in this grand thing. Every decision you make has these massive consequences, and you know it, and you're trying to affect it. It's more your actions set in motion things by the fact that you're going after these powerful men, taking them out, hurting them, changes things. I think at some point he's going to realize what he's doing and take responsibility for that.
Yes.
I think that's where it's going to end up.
The only thing I'd like to see a little bit more of, and I think how they've tried to do it, is they've tried to, after you like assassinate a major target and then you sort of go into like that animus sort of thing.
Yeah.
Like they've always done that with Assassin's Creed to some extent. They've got a bit of a like, you see your son sort of sometimes in those. I'm not sure if you've done any yet, but
I've done the first one with what was it, the ibis?
Maybe something.
It was
like
very
that.
brutal, but it was like there is a certain
it was probably
guilt, almost PTSD aspect to it. I'm seeing a lot more names here than I currently have.
Yeah, don't worry about that. Yeah, there's obviously going to be more and more targets as you go on. That's where I'm getting to my point that you're going through and just taking out everybody. That I'm starting to feel a bit, you're really going to do all of it? Because obviously he's after one man, which is probably at the top.
Oh, it's going to be.
And it's a bit like
Wildlands
or anything like that, where you got to go through everyone to get to the man at the top, which is fine. But to me, it would be more impactful if, rather than doing the whole little throwback to, oh, my son's dead in that animus thing, like I killed my son or they killed my son, I think if they did more of like just him having flashbacks to having times with, like right at the start when it was, you had that flashback to when you were with your son and he was like not jumping off the ledge and you wanted him to jump off the ledge and that sort of thing. If you did more of that, it would build more context as to how good their relationship was. Or maybe they didn't have the best relationship, but he was trying to improve it. He was trying to make him
Magi.
Yeah.
Well, that was the impression I got. Yeah,
to me, like, and that's fine. Like, it's a huge game. Maybe they don't have the time to do that. But for me, it would just have a little bit more context if it was, I'm going to take out all these people because of this, not because you see it once and then that's it.
Yeah, I think I think it's just going to grow organically. I think he's just, as I've said, I think it'll be interesting to see how it happens and what happens. We can't really speculate on.
There's been some little nods in where I've played through to like parents with their younger kids, and you can see Bayek is hurting, like because of his loss, but it's not necessarily a like cutscene or anything. Well, it might be a cutscene, but it's not like a super throwback or anything. It's just you can see in his eyes that he's hurting because he's lost his son, sort of thing. So those are good little nods as well. I do like the way that they've done that, and like he'll say to maybe a kid or something like, make your father proud, or do this whatnot, which you can see as him having that influence from his own experience. But I'm in no way disappointed with the story.
Oh no,
I think they're doing a really good job, and these sorts of things can always be the hardest things to do. Look at the Star Wars prequels and how much everybody hated them. Lots of reasons for that. We're not those people that hated it, but when you're going back into something that's already developed, and especially when, like, the game is obviously going to be a lot better than the first game.
Oh, it's...
Obviously.
I would have finished the first game already.
There's going to be more mechanics. There's going to be all sorts of things.
It's the classic Halo.
Yeah, but... Is that a problem? No.
Oh, no, it's...
Nobody cares. Like, I think they've handled it excellently.
As long as the story is done, like, this, if your story matches up, it's fine. You can have all the mechanics you want. Have every mechanic.
It's got to. I mean, gameplay's got to evolve. You can't say, oh, well, this came before the first game, so we actually need to have less game mechanics than the first one. Like, that's not how it works.
You don't even get to kill people. You have no sword.
It's actually on rails now. You don't get to walk around freely.
It's a movie. Michael Fassbender's going to do the whole thing for you.
God.
Wouldn't say no to that.
Oh, well, some people probably would. I don't think it did too well.
It didn't. It didn't do it well at all, but I liked it.
Yeah, well, we're a bit weird. We like some things that other people don't, but...
We like a lot of things that people don't, but...
Yeah. And we don't like a lot of things that people do like, but...
Yes, but I will be very, very interested to see where this story ends, and I would like to come back in, 6 months when I finally finish it. And...
Yeah, look, when we're done this, we might have a bit of a follow-up review as to our actual thoughts. It's hard to say at the moment because we haven't finished it, and I don't want to say something that you don't know about, that you're not going to know about for another 30 hours and sort of hinder your experience. So when we've both finished it, I think we'll have a look then and recap on it if we remember to, but hopefully someone will remind us in 6 months and if we finish the game. So other than just the main story, which is pretty big in itself, there's a bunch of side quests and other things to do in this game.
Yeah.
Which is sort of the reason it's going to take us quite a while if we're going to 100% it. There's collectibles, there's just general side quests, there's this little kid called Bazaar, or whatever his name is.
Real MVP.
He gives you the good shit, but he makes you do some quests and things daily. Which is cool. I think all the side quests are pretty good too.
Yeah,
they're not super like.
They're not the most groundbreaking of quests. I've never.
But they're not ESO. They're not. It's like not walking, talking quests. They're like you're generally killing something or finding something. Like it's a little bit more depth than just go talk to this person
or go get 6 of this.
Yeah,
some of them are go get 6 of this.
Some of them are, but
it is, it's not, like, I haven't been massively impressed, like, to the point where it's just like, this is amazing with these side quests, but they're not obtrusive. So, like, it's never, I think the most time I've spent on doing one is one of the first ones where you got to take that guy's body back to the farm.
Yep.
In Siwa.
Yep.
The only reason I spent a lot of time doing that was because I kept trying to run in and fight everyone, and it's a massive base, and it just got me killed.
I just went around the back of the base.
Oh, I knew.
I picked him up, put him on my horse, and then rode away.
Oh, I knew exactly how to do it. I was just trying to do it a particular way and couldn't.
Because you're very low level, and there's quite a big base for when you're a low level.
Yeah, and it was, but there was nothing wrong with it.
No.
And that's probably the one that's taken me the most amount of time. And realistically, actually doing the mission was.
And that's another
10
thing
minutes.
that we should say about gameplay is it does not in any way feel flawed that you can't do something because the game is against you because some mechanic isn't right or some developer sort of wanted to sidestep doing something. It's just like you fucked up. You shouldn't have done that.
See, and that's the other thing that it's, drawing comparisons with Middle Earth is nothing. I've died a lot in this game.
I've died a few times, yeah.
Well, I've probably died at least a dozen times,
Yep.
a dozen times, whatever. But at every point, it has been, I can clearly see what I've done to get there and how it's happened. It doesn't feel unfair, whereas I've not died because some guy's immune to arrows.
Yeah.
And it's...
And I have to say for like the boss battles that you encounter later, they're pretty standard sort of bit. Nobody's immune to anything. It's not like the person I just versed, she was like shooting me with arrows and she was doing a lot of smoke screens to try and like protect herself so I couldn't see her. But it was just a matter of running through the smoke and finding her and then either pounding her or using a predator bow and shooting through the smoke and then just shooting her. Like it wasn't like she took a lot of damage and that sort of thing. The only things that are hard and Dark Souls like are the Trials of Anubis, which we'll talk about later, and they're intended to be.
Yeah.
That you're fighting gods, not people.
Men.
Yeah.
Or computer-generated versions of gods.
Yes.
Whatever it happens to be.
Yeah, animus gods. Errors in the animus.
I don't know, you've fucking gone crazy at some point.
Yeah, I think everybody's crazy. Which I guess we should touch on that as well, the animus side of things. So you've been out of the animus now, Layla?
I've been out once. I'm not entirely sure how to get out. No, I don't think you can.
You can. So when you're in your start screen, you can press up to go to Layla. See there? Up on the D-pad. But you never want to do that.
I've done it. I've tried to do it and couldn't get out.
Just hold up.
Oh.
So you can go out, but there's nothing out there other than a little bit of lore.
I mean, I would be interested to see at certain points because obviously it will pull you out.
It does drag you out, yes. So not to give too much away, but Bayek has a wife. Yes. Obviously had a child.
I know it's fairly early on. You learn that when you're going to. It's never actually, interestingly enough, in the dialogue, it's never actually said wife. It's never actually. She's not identified. It's only when you're looking at the quest descriptions.
Yeah.
There's sort of. I think there's something telling there about that relationship.
So they're still very close.
I get a very Heavy Rain vibe from it. Post death, if you haven't seen Heavy Rain, too bad. It's 5 years old. I'm going to spoil it.
No, I don't think so. Not to that extent. I think she's got a lot of revenge in her heart as well. She's really trying to do basically what Bayek's doing, but she's going about it a different way. But they still have a lot of love for each other. When you meet her, you'll find that. And you actually will later on do some quests as Aya. But when you go out of Animus, the first time you go and explore, you can see Bayek's tomb and all that sort of thing. Later on, she realizes that Aya's tomb is also there. And then she finds Aya's tomb, does the whole plug into her as well.
Which is interesting.
And she's like, it's sort of telling you like you're gonna be able to play as Aya, but it sort of says it needs to synchronize or whatnot, whatever the animus needs to do. And you try to jump in as Aya, and then the system sort of like freaks out, and she's like, no, you can't do this just yet. And then later on, when you complete a quest, she'll be like, it's synchronized now, and you can jump in and do an Aya quest. But I think the Aya quests maybe, I'm not sure if I'm saying a name right there, but I think they might be a little more not so open world, a bit more narrow. I think it might be you do this specific thing. I don't think you'll be able to run around, but maybe you will be. I don't know.
It'll be interesting. I don't think nothing in the way the game was marketed said it was multiple, because that was when Syndicate came out. That was one of the things, was because you had the two siblings, you could play as either, and it was basically a drop in, drop out thing.
I think, and this is only subtle, but I think the out of Animus being in Egypt, or maybe it's not Egypt or wherever they are, but it kind of feels less like...
It's not as jarring. It's not like the first...
You're not coming into a white clinic that's like just all computers, which to me, for some reason, it's something in my brain just feels like that's a little bit more natural. The lines are a little bit more blurred. You know you're not in the same time period, but you are in a similar like you're in the same place. Yeah.
And there's a connection more than just a computer.
Neurological or whatever it's supposed to be. Yeah.
And I think that's probably been a lot of the criticism of the Out of Animus stuff.
Not that you do anything out of Animus. You can go for a little run around and there's not too much to do.
I'm getting the feeling that there's going to be more Out of Animus.
Possibly.
Like, I'm getting a very Black Flag feeling from this game in a lot of ways. And the Out of Animus stuff in Black Flag was probably the biggest of any of the games.
Mm-hmm.
Most involved. You could walk around. There's a lot of stuff to do out of there. I'm getting the feeling there's going to be a bit more, probably very late game, but I'm getting the feeling there's going to be a lot more Out of Animus stuff.
Yeah.
Just because, well, it might be just me hoping there's more, because I do actually really love the Animus stuff, but...
Whereas I'm the complete opposite. I'm probably like maybe more of the gamers, I don't know. But I could just play an Assassin's Creed series and know nothing about Out of Animus and I would be happy. Like if it was just stories of the past and it was like I played through this, I'd be happy. I don't need the whole, is it Abstergo? Or I don't even know what it is because I don't pay attention. I skip Out of Animus stuff basically because I'm there for that story. I don't know anything really about the whole Apple of Eden and how it all works. Like I know more from watching the movie, which I didn't mind, but like I say, if you just had me in olden times doing stuff, I'd be happy.
Yeah, I suppose.
I do seem to like... This seems a bit more like... I think it nearly feels a bit more like Tomb Raider or something where there's this chick that's exploring caves and trying to find stuff. It doesn't feel so clinical. It doesn't feel like you're in a laboratory. And I think they've done well there.
They have. I don't know whether they've listened to criticism or if there was any criticism, but I think they're trying to marry the two a lot bit more. And that's like, you look at the Animus in this version of the game versus what it has been.
Yeah, it's a portable refrigerator.
Essentially, yes. Can't store beer in it.
Or a tanning booth. Probably more of a tanning booth.
Yeah, more of the second one. I find it... She can't change a tyre by the looks of it.
Probably not, no. Yeah, I did see the car. Her sheets of paper all over the place and whatnot. She can't keep them together.
Yeah, she's not the most tidy. So, Trial of the Gods still.
Yes, Trial of the Gods. I did try this earlier in the week when I was level 15 and it's a level 40 thing. That didn't work out so well.
No, I imagine it wouldn't.
And I also tried it on Ada's account when she was about level 32 or 31, I think. Still didn't work out. You have to be level 40. Or it's Red Skulls above the because there's Anubis and then he has all those like minions coming out that you got to fight as well. And the minions are Red Skulls. So you can do damage to Anubis, but then once the minions start coming out,
you're fucked.
Yeah. Like, well, you can do damage to them, not a whole lot, and they like one-shot you.
Yeah, I've noticed a little bit of that. I was in Siwa of all places. I had a
There is up in the top sort of part of Siwa. There's for some reason like I think they're protecting some loot.
They look very much like the mercenaries in that cutscene.
Yeah, and I think that's where they probably kept them there because they were supposed to. I think that was an introduction to, like, people being tougher than you and that sort of thing. But I managed to sneak in and take the loot and not fight them. But I don't know. I haven't been back there. I might be able to fight them now anyway if they were still there.
Yeah, I'm just gonna wait a few levels, go back and kick their asses.
Yeah. Well, I think I went back there at level 20 and they were still too high. So
that'll be interesting.
So yeah, and I mean it doesn't matter because when you get the loot, it comes out at your level anyway.
Which I like and I don't like. It's there's always that debate in games whether you should be rewarded for being bold.
I think the thing is, I understand what you're saying there, but the thing is, everything in this game's a little bit special where it doesn't really matter what level it is because you can upgrade it to your level.
Yeah, it doesn't. You don't have
So
that.
it's kind of more of a reward as to whether you like the look of it and what it does. So that's how I'm dealing with it. If I see something and I'm like, yeah, I like the look of it, but it doesn't do the fire damage or it doesn't do something that I've already got that I like, I'm like, yeah, I can live without it.
Yeah,
I would like to be able to have an ability later, going to the blacksmith and like adding abilities for something. I don't know. So I'll just quickly show you and I'll explain it to everybody listening. In your inventory, you have carbon crystals which you use for upgrading your hidden blade and all of
it's
your quiver
basically
and that sort of
legendary
thing,
ones.
once they get up higher. But there's also things called silica.
Haven't found a use for it yet? Obviously not if you got 19 of it.
No, so I've been discovering this stuff and I'm wondering if maybe later there's the ability to add like fire and poison and that sort of thing to weapons. I would like that.
I would.
So that if I find something I like the look of, I can make it more useful. But I don't know. But it's quite rare. I've got 19 of them, but that you find them in like tombs and whatnot. And the most recent boss I killed, I think, she was collecting them for some ritual she's trying to perform. So I don't know what that's used for yet, but it's in resources. You can probably sell it. Maybe it's just a really expensive thing to sell, but I'm just going to hold on to it.
No, because you can't. Well, you can sell it, but there's a sell useless items.
Yeah, it's not a useless item, but you could sell
unnecessary items.
Yeah. So I guess it's necessary to some point.
I think I would be very interested to see what happens. And I would like to...
Yeah, I would like the ability to add more things onto my weapons.
Or at least change it and modify it to what you want.
Yeah. So that if you like the look of something, you can then customize it a bit more. Because I've had weapons I like the look of, and I was like, well, it's not really useful to me. Even if I have it at my level, it still doesn't have... Maybe its bleed damage or something isn't particularly high.
Or I find myself doing that a lot, and then I pigeonhole myself because I'm using one weapon that was good.
One good thing. There's probably more than that, but one thing I really liked in For Honor was how you could choose like a style and equip that to...
You could change the look, and you weren't what you wanted. You weren't bound
to its ability or yeah.
So if you wanted a sword, there was a katana with a gold back and I liked the look of it. I liked mostly the shape of the blade, but I didn't like it. It's whatever it actually did to your weapon.
Yeah.
I hate it. I didn't like.
Yeah, because in that game it was more about like defense, attack, and that sort of thing. But I just think that's kind of a unique thing that hasn't been in a whole lot of games that could be something that like they look at in the future. Is like, it's just, I think some people like the basic looking sword. Like if I could have the most basic sword and it was just like incredible, like nearly like Excalibur, really, like it's not the most extraordinary looking blade.
Depends on your version.
It does depend, but like some people like that. Some people would like a wooden sword that's freaking incredible. Like if you can, like, didn't people used to play Assassin's Creed with mops or something, or brooms?
I think there was like a duster or something where like you could I don't know where you got it. I don't know how you got it, but I'm pretty sure you could kill people.
Yeah.
Like, count it as a mace or something.
So I think that would be a cool little addition. But once again, this isn't a review really. This is just our initial impressions. Once we finish the game, we can talk about what's actually in it, because there could still be stuff like, I really have no use for this stuff yet. Somebody who's already finished it probably has an idea, but
shouting at us saying, "You fuckwits, it's used for this."
yeah. So
I wish I could
this
steal
strange
some of your.
substance has an eerie feeling.
I wish I could have some of your resources. I want some of your cedarwood.
I have to sell it all. I don't have any use for it.
Well, that's the thing. At a certain point, you just start selling shit.
All right, we're running out of time, Scott, so let's cruise through some of this last stuff. The big old thing that everybody always talks about, the microtransactions. Do you need them?
No.
No? What are they good for?
It's all aesthetic.
Yeah.
I mean, even the gear. Yes, it is better. It is
And that's
legendary.
the point that I was just raising. Some of that gear, I bet, doesn't have really good abilities on it.
It just looks cool.
It just looks cool. That's where I'm kind of like, if I'm buying something that looks cool, even more now do I want to be able to put poison or fire or something on it so that I can continue to use it.
Some of the good ones.
So
they're
stay
not
tuned.
bad.
Maybe that is something
They're
that
not
we can do.
bad stuff on it. It's just
Basic.
basic. Yes.
Yeah. So it's much like, I guess, GTA or, well, I guess any Ubisoft thing. Like Rainbow Six has R6 credits. Ghost Recon has its own currency. There's Helix credits in this, which you buy.
Which have been in the last few.
Oh, is that what they were?
So they
They were Helix
Syndicate.
credits?
It was in Helix credits. I believe it was also in
I'm
Unity.
glad you're here. I would have had no
So
idea.
it has been in. If you played any of those, it's the same deal. It's
So
more.
we'll just quickly speak in Australian dollars. If we go to Helix credits, you can basically buy 500 credits will be $7.35. And the maximum one they have there, which is an extra large pack, is 5,000 plus 2,400, so 7,400 Helix credits is basically $76.20. Everything that I've seen in here is around 500 to 1,500.
So I think the gear ranges from about 250 to 1,000, or 250 to 500. I've never seen much more than 500. The packs, like this Nightmare pack, if you've seen trailers
Which
for that,
bundles like 3 of them together or
bundles
something like
I
that.
think it's for a bow, a sword, an axe, and an outfit, and a It's
So-
about 5 things.
But this gear isn't going to make you unstoppable. It's basically more aesthetic than anything. It's going to be reasonably the same. It's going to come in, I would say you purchase it, whatever level you are, it'll come in at that level. You can upgrade it as you go along is going to be how it is. Like the Ubisoft Club gear, when I first got it, because you can get the stuff for free, or the Uplay credits, it came in at my level and it just sits in there now.
Except for one. One came in at level 10, the corrupting.
Yeah.
And I've been upgrading that. I didn't like any of it in particular because I got the deluxe pack, so I had one particular sword that I've basically kept using for the entire time.
Yes.
It's got the good abilities, the abilities I like on it.
Yep.
I suppose the major one of all of these is the season pass.
Yes, so the season pass, whether we're calling that a microtransaction or not, you don't obviously purchase that with Helix credits, you just buy it straight outright, and it's $59.95, or 60 Australian dollars basically.
Which is close to what most people pay for the game.
Yeah.
A lot of people pay for the game.
Yeah, definitely you could get the game for $60 if you're looking around, $60 to $70. I mean, most people probably would buy it for $100 if they were buying it digitally, because that's what price it's going to be. But season passes generally are around the same price as the game because they're giving you another year of content.
Depends
supposedly.
on who it is and what it is and the game.
I think this is a good one. I think it's worthwhile.
Yeah, I mean, we've got read up on it at the Xbox store. So the hidden ones actually might be where was looking at with my predictions for the story. It might be It says new region.
Yeah, you are correct. Okay.
Occupy.
So okay, we'll just read through what you get for your $60. So the first DLC pack is the Hidden Ones. This story-driven expansion builds upon the growth of the Brotherhood, taking players years after events of Assassin's Creed Origins as they clash with an occupying Roman force in a new region. This expansion will extend the level cap, allowing players to keep on making their character progress. Available in January 2018. So current level cap is 40. It'll obviously go above and beyond that.
I'll be interested. That might end up new region. You might end up in Syria or Assyria or somewhere.
Like, come on, that's giving you basically another Assassin's Creed game. Like, that's what Assassin's Creed. I mean, especially with this one being so involved and so good. I think that's.
I think I'm getting a very
very
Witcher
good
vibe from the DLC, in that I expect it'll probably add 10 to 20 hours.
I'm so glad to see season passes starting to add value. Old season passes were just shit. And now they really seem to be adding value, and it's good. I'm glad. DLC 2 is The Curse of the Pharaohs. In this story-driven expansion focusing on Egyptian mythology, players will fight against undead pharaohs and explore a new mythical realm. During their journey, players will encounter famed Egyptian beasts such as Anubis warriors, Scorpios, and more. We don't know what Scorpios are. We thought they were the console that we play on, but apparently there's something else.
If I fight an Xbox, I will actually be impressed.
That could be incredible.
On an Xbox,
you need to
Xbox Inception
collab, or Master Chief riding a Scorpion. That would be quite incredible too.
That would. I'm also getting a bit of a Mummy vibe, so if it's The Rock as a Scorpion...
Oh, yeah, okay. As they investigate the cause of the curse that has broken the dead pharaohs... Jesus Christ.
Can't even read your own typing.
God damn. Has brought the dead pharaohs back to life. The curse of the pharaohs will increase the level cap further and introduce brand new abilities. So, we're going to get some new abilities as well. Available in March 2018. So I guess we're going to get a new level cap with the first DLC, and then the second one will extend that further, is how that reads. So maybe we'll get to 50 and then to 60 or something like
whatever it is. I'm interested. The second one seems like a very much a they've done it before with number 3. It was like a what if scenario. It's not anything to do with the story. It's not anything.
It's mythology, which I think that's kind of interesting. It's like so much of this is sort of appeasing to the gods and all that sort of thing. It seems more of a out there.
Well, when you think of Egypt, it's very much the mythology is very much tied to the history.
I think the Trials of the Gods will be nearly similar in a way. Like it'll be a bit of a teaser as to what they're doing. It may even tie in a little bit, possibly not,
maybe.
but
it's. I think the first one will continue the story like this that this game is telling, and really
it'll probably be a bit of a tie-in between the two, by the sounds of it.
Yeah.
Will we play as Bayek?
I assume since it's the level cap, I assume Bayek is going to be the character for both of them.
Yeah.
It will be very interesting to see, like particularly the first one. It's going to drive the story further. You're going to see more of the origin of the creed. You probably by that stage you'll have the Brotherhood established, if not well grounded, and then it'll grow from there. It'll take on a life of its own, and then the second one's just going to be a bit of fun. I think.
Definitely.
We've got this thing. Why not do it? A bit, Red Dead Undead Nightmare. Yeah. Probably.
So then the other things that you get here is the Roman Centurion and the Horus packs. So the Roman Centurion pack is already available to purchase, and it's $10.65 by itself. What does it come with?
It's a shield,
Oops, no, I don't want to buy it. I just wanted to look at it, but it won't let me do that.
So it comes with it says a couple of weapons, a mount, and I think you can actually find it in here if you have a look. Yeah, through the actual gear.
Oh, it tells you which ones are in. Not a big deal. So basically you get a couple of packs of cosmetic stuff.
Some weapons. But...
And some equipment. 2 exclusive add-on packs, including a new outfit, weapon, shield, and mount. Yep, so it says available November 2017, so maybe they're both available now. Sorry, I
don't
just
know
can't see the
what the
Horus
Horus-
pack. Yeah, or maybe it's later in November.
Well, the Nightmare pack only just released now, 3 weeks after the game.
And that's not part of the season pass, is it? That we know of.
I don't believe so, because it's got no price on it.
Yeah.
It's just an in-game currency
You need
thing.
to purchase it with Helix credits.
Which, depending on your pack and how much you have...
I feel like you're going to buy that.
I feel like I am.
You also get a package of 500 Helix credits with the season pass, so the ability to purchase some other stuff there, and an exclusive rare weapon, the Calamity Blade, available on launch of the game as well. So
Which
just another
I've
weapon.
seen it in the Xbox store, and it looks pretty cool.
Yep.
Pretty...
I mean,
Great.
obviously the main value is on the 2 DLC packs. The other stuff is just fluff stuff that comes with it. But I think that's worthwhile. I think that will keep you playing the game for another.
Well, last one
30
releases
hours, I
in
would
March,
say.
so I would assume... I mean, if it's 15 hours each, 20 hours each, it's worth it.
I think it would be. I don't think, especially if they're doing a new region for
Well,
that one, which may only be like a small
it-
region in.
this is where I'm getting the Witcher 3 vibe from it. In which of the first DLC, Hearts of Stone, added extra stuff to the region you're already in.
Yep.
A second one just added a whole new region. And it was big.
Yeah.
It was like...
I mean, if the level cap's going up, that sort of... By the time you're at level 40, I don't think you're going to be getting levels super fast. I've
you're
noticed I'm
27
getting them
with-
slowly. I'm level 30. And
whatever it is. And you need 15,000 to level up to the next one.
yeah, I didn't even look at that. I've just gone to level 30, so you'll be able to see exactly how much I need. Yeah, so basically 15,000.
Yeah, it's...
So it's going to take some time to level up. So I would say if you are leveling up to the next cap, then you're going to have plenty of time in the game.
There's going to be plenty of stuff to do.
But we should probably head off. Should probably finish this.
Probably should. Go play some Assassins.
Yeah, it's been a good chat, and we've obviously got a lot of thoughts about this game. The main thought is it's great. It's good fun.
Yes, it is. Go get it.
Yeah, if you haven't played it already. And stunning on the Xbox One X.
Oh, it is amazing. Like, just looking at it, even without playing it, just looking at the picture mode, it's just amazing. It
Yeah,
just
I mean,
looks
I
fantastic.
often find myself just like, there's so much gorgeous about it, but the pyramids, you just get lost looking at them. Like, you'll just be in a field of red poppies, and the pyramids will just be across the water, just sitting there. And you're just like, I've got quests to do? It can wait. It'll be fine. And you just sort of sit there. Like, I haven't done that in a game for a long time, and I like it.
I think the last game I actually did that in was Witcher 3.
Yeah.
And that was because it was beautiful for its time.
Yeah.
It still is amazing.
Yeah.
But this game, above and beyond any expectations I've actually had for a game in a long time, just even the little details, like the footprints in the sand, the way the water...
The cat's coming up to you for you to take photos of them.
The cat's coming up to me. The bow wave on the boats is amazing. Like, it's
incredible.
it's the little things make the world.
Yeah.
And that's always been a belief of mine. Because you can focus all you want on the large details. If you don't have the little details down, it's just not going to be a mess.
Yeah, it's both. Like, you need both of them, definitely, but the little ones make it shine. Look at GTA for that. That's the reason it's so popular. It's the little things that they pay attention to.
And there's always new stuff to find there.
Yeah. So, get into playing Assassin's Creed Origins if you haven't already. It's great fun. We're going to call it there. If you've got anything you'd like to tell us about your experience in Assassin's Creed, leave a comment. You can catch this podcast on YouTube, iTunes, Stitcher, and SoundCloud. And if you want to follow us for all of our pretty photos in Assassin's Creed, I'll have to get some of you, Scott. You can follow us on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram at Predictable Amusement or Predictable Amuse, whatever limit is on there. You know how you go to put a
Predictable
tag
ass.
in and then it's not that. But yeah, that's going to do it for this episode of Friendly Fire. Hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.